What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I'm Sid the Nerdy Mark, and this is my review of Raw and SmackDown for this week. Now, really quick before we begin, a couple of quick announcements. So first things first, I did do an episode of Armbar Audio with my good friends Tim Farley and John Kearns. The link is in the description below. Check it out. That was a great episode. We had a great time talking about some of our favorite finishers in all of pro wrestling, not just WWE, but New Japan, Ring of Honor, all that good stuff. And I also am going to be reviewing All In with them as well. So that'll be out sometime next week. Look out for that. And I will be doing something else with them too in the near future. So I'm going to be doing a lot of collabs with these guys in the coming few weeks and everything. So be on the lookout for those. I'm very, very excited. Can't wait to share that with you guys. With that being said, let's dive right in to WWE television for this week, starting with Monday Night Raw. So Raw does come to us from Toronto, Canada, as did SmackDown Live, and Raw did start with Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, to a thunderous shower of boos because it is Smart City. He comes out and he says that he wants to be a fighting champion, and he basically calls out Braun Strowman, who does come out and says that he's going to cash in his Money in the Bank contract at Hell in a Cell. They shake on it. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler interrupt. They talk about Dolph Ziggler is going to invoke his rematch clause in his time. So he says, for now, we want to beat you two up. Him and Drew want to beat up Roman and Braun Strowman. Braun and Roman are like, okay, fine, let's do it. Baron Corbin comes out and makes the main event. He is the acting general manager, so he makes that as the main event for tonight. It's going to be Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. And that's not the only match the acting GM makes. He makes a match between himself and Finn Balor, because this is the match that everybody wants to see. Finn Balor and Baron Corbin, because we just can't get enough of these two in the ring. Now, can we? We have the match. Baron Corbin comes in, hits him with a steel chair, gets disqualified, giving Finn the DQ victory. Baron Corbin uses his power to bend the rules a little bit and announces that the match is going to restart as a no DQ match. Comes back in, hits Balor with the chair again. End of days, 1, 2, 3. Baron Corbin wins. Now, can we please move on from these two? Can these two just please move on from each other? I would really appreciate that. Please and thank you. We then get Dana Brooke facing someone who is not the Authors of Pain, thank God. No, it is Sasha Banks instead. So we have this match, Sasha versus Dana. This was a pretty decent match. It wasn't anything fantastic. Sasha did win with the bank statement and whatnot. And yeah, I don't know where we go from here. I think Titus Worldwide is teasing a split. So I'm totally fine with that, to be honest with you. They haven't really been doing much for me anyway, so might as well break them up and I guess make them fall deeper into the abyss. Wonderful. Next up, the Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins comes out and issues an open challenge for the Intercontinental title, as did Roman Reigns actually in the beginning, and then Braun Strowman came out. Roman and Seth both basically said this is the Shield Workhorse Challenge or something like that, which is interesting. By the way, Seth, Dean, and Roman are all wearing their Shield t-shirts, so it's like, the Shield are still together even though they're in different matches. But yeah, so Seth does issue an open challenge for the IC title. Kevin Owens comes out. He is cheered because, of course, he's from Canada, but he quickly turns those cheers into boos when he favors his hometown of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, over Toronto. So that was pretty cool. Smart on Kevin Owens' part. So Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins have a damn fine match, which Seth Rollins ultimately wins. And you should just go watch this match because it was really good. But that is not the important part of the whole thing. Kevin Owens later on getting a chair, sitting down, kind of moping a little bit, and then finally just saying, I quit. Kevin Owens quits the WWE and he leaves. Now, for those who are wondering if this is real or fake, it is absolutely staged because, first of all, Baron Corbin later on in a segment was talking to Stephanie, and he was like, I will find out what is happening with Kevin Owens. And another thing, there are rumors that Kevin Owens is coming back as a Heyman guy, and apparently he's also working to lose a little weight. So that's interesting. I would like to see that, actually. Heyman and Owens teaming up. That would be a pretty cool pairing, even though KO is very good on the mic. But, of course, Paul Heyman has worked with people who are better on the mic, particularly a certain Punk comes to mind, but this would be interesting. I'm excited to see what direction they're going with Kevin Owens. We now have the B team, the Raw Tag Team Champions, taking on the Revival again in a full-fledged tag team match. A pretty decent match between the two. It wasn't anything amazing either. I think it's about time we finally put the titles on the Revival, because they really do deserve it. And they do prove it by winning this match. This is a non-title match, unfortunately, but so I'm smelling a rematch at Hell in a Cell. I hope it's not on the kickoff show this time. Please, dear God, do not do that, because they need to win these the Revival need to win these titles. Elias makes his way into the ring next. He performs for a little bit, does a few guitar riffs on his little guitar. He then proceeds to insult Toronto, Canada, and guess who comes out but Trish Stratus. She has finally returned into the ring after a very long time. Even though they said it's been 7 years since she's entered the ring. Wrong. She was in the Women's Royal Rumble. I don't know how these announcers forgot. She comes out and she berates Elias for insulting her hometown. Trish and Elias trade insults. And finally, Elias says that he knows that Trish is out there because she wants to walk with Elias, much like many other women. And he says that he doesn't date women over 60. I don't think is actually her age, Elias. This provokes Trish Stratus, and she slaps the hell out of Elias's face and awkwardly transitions into a promo about Alexa Bliss, bringing out Ronda Rousey and Natalya, who is going to go up against Alicia Fox. Alexa Bliss comes out. She makes fun of Natalya, Trish, and Ronda. Then, of course, Mickie James returns, so she's back from injury. And we finally have the match between Natalya and Alicia Fox, who, by the way, is still coming out to Alexa Bliss's music, which is weird. I didn't really care about this match. Natalya won with the sharpshooter. Yay, great, wonderful. So, as I did mention earlier on, Baron Corbin was on the phone with Stephanie McMahon. She's wondering what the hell is going on with Kevin Owens. He says, I'm going to find out what's going on and get it under control. Braun Strowman comes in, turns in his Money in the Bank contract over to Baron Corbin, just telling him to bring it at Hell in a Cell. So I'm thinking that Baron Corbin is going to get involved somehow with this match. Bobby Lashley then comes in. He says that he wants a match. Baron Corbin says, I forgot their names, but your opponent will be out there. Your match is up next. Go out there and do your thing. Turns out the unknown people are the Ascension. Haven't seen them in a while. They have a match with Bobby Lashley, a handicap match, which Bobby Lashley wins. I don't know why. The Ascension are still employed with WWE. Next up, we did have Jinder Mahal approach Dean Ambrose because he senses a lot of anger in him, and Dean Ambrose has no chill, as you kids say it these days, and he tries to teach him some meditation. Dean Ambrose goes along with it. He says, I see myself, and I see you. I see myself breaking your face, breaking your ribs, and basically he sees Dean Ambrose killing Jinder Mahal, which is exactly what he does in the ring. They have a match. It was pretty good. Dean Ambrose basically kills Jinder Mahal. Anytime Jinder Mahal gets killed by somebody is a great day. So it is now time for our main event. Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre in a very good tag team match. I enjoyed this quite a bit. All four of these guys are fantastic. You got like three powerhouses and one dude who's like a little bit more agile. The match did end when Roman Reigns finally made the hot tag to Braun Strowman, who took his sweet time to get in the ring. He actually didn't get in the ring when he was tagged, and everyone's wondering what the hell is going on. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre beat up on Roman Reigns, which gets them disqualified, so Roman and Braun win via DQ, but Braun comes in and starts beating up Roman Reigns, allowing Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre to beat them up too. The Shield brothers try to come in and help out, but it doesn't work. Having Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler standing tall, and apparently the Shield and these guys are going to have a match at the Super Showdown in Australia, which, by the way, I'm not watching because apparently it's at like 4 o'clock in the morning where I live in Texas. So I am not watching that. I'm sorry. There won't be reviews. Forgive me. This was cool. By the way, a lot of people are saying that Braun Strowman turned heel. No, he did not. Because Braun Strowman is just getting payback for what Roman Reigns did to him last week. He teamed up on him with the Shield. So now Braun is like, okay, well, giving you a taste of your own medicine. That's all it is. Braun is basically a tweener. He's neither heel or face. I mean, he's teamed up with heels before and he's teamed up with baby faces before. So I personally don't see this as a full-fledged heel turn for Strowman. I think it's just to kind of build up more tension between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman in this feud, as their match at Hell in a Cell is going to be a cage match, right? It's going to be inside Hell in a Cell, so that should be interesting. Their matches are always very brutal. Even though the announcer said that they never had a match inside Hell in a Cell, that is not true, because they did have a steel cage match during the Go Home show before TLC last year. So please read up on your history, announcers. But anyway, that's how Monday Night Raw ends. Let's move on to SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live opens up with your 5-time tag team champions, The New Day, and they come out throwing pancakes everywhere, whatnot. They are celebrating their 5-time winning of the belts. Out comes King Booker, and he formally welcomes them all into the 5-time champions club. They all take turns doing spin-a-roonies. This was good stuff. This transitions into the Bar versus the Club versus the Colognes. Haven't seen them in a while in a triple threat match for the #1 contendership for the SmackDown tag team titles. Unlike the Raw tag team picture, the SmackDown tag team picture looks extremely stacked, so I'm enjoying this. But this was a really good match between all three teams, the Club, the Bar, even the Colognes. They're all really, really good. So fantastic match. Nothing much to say about it, but of course the Bar do pin, I believe, one of the Colognes, and they win the match. So the Bar move on to face next week's winners of that triple threat, which of course Paige does make that triple threat. Apparently Rusev Day is back together now. So Aiden English and Rusev will take on the Usos and Sanity in their triple threat match. And the winners of that will face the Bar the week after. And then the winners of that match will of course go to Hell in a Cell to face the New Day for the Raw tag team titles. Fingers crossed it's Sanity, but then we all know that it's not going to be. Next up, Jeff Hardy comes out and he has RKO face painted on his face, and he cuts a promo on Randy Orton. He showing what he did last week by putting him through a table via Swanton Bomb, and he kind of smiles at it and he says, "I felt like the Jeff Hardy of old." And he calls out Randy Orton, who comes out and he says, "Congratulations, you found your vigor again," and whatnot, and he's going to destroy him and whatever. Hardy then challenges Randy Orton to a match at Hell in a Cell, and of course Randy at that time, he basically drops his mic and just kind of nods and walks backstage. Later on, it is made official that Hardy and Orton will go at it inside Hell in a Cell, so that should be a really good match too, because these two have a very brutal rivalry going on, and I think it's the best way to settle this feud. So I'm excited for Hell in a Cell, especially this match. So up next, we did have Billie Kay taking on Naomi last week. Peyton Royce beat Naomi. This week, Billie Kay beats Naomi with the help of Peyton Royce. Of course, they cheat and whatnot to win. I'm thinking that we're going to get a tag team partner for Naomi. Probably going to be Asuka. She's just going to be thrown in the shuffle because, you know what, she doesn't have anything else better to do, so might as well do that. So we'll see what happens next week, but I really don't care about this feud at all. I don't know what the hell all these three women are doing. They're such talented people. They need to be elevated into much bigger status, into a much higher status. If you didn't see value in the Iconics, why the hell did you even call them up? But anyway, I don't know what's going on. I'm rambling. I'm just really angry with the treatment of NXT call-ups by WWE. So this is just me venting. So let's move on. Brie Bella and Daniel Bryan make their way into the ring. Up next, Brie and Daniel cut a promo on The Miz. Daniel talks about how it was great seeing his wife punch Miz in the face. She has an amazingly powerful punch, but does she have a Superman punch, Daniel? Does she? No, because she doesn't do this before she punches. So you need to learn to do that, sweetheart, because that's exactly how Roman Reigns' punches are so powerful, because he does this and charges up his punches before he lets it out. Andrade, Cien, Almas, and Zelina Vega interrupt. They basically challenge Daniel Bryan to a match. So we have this match up next. Bryan versus Almas in a really good bout. The Miz and Maurice are watching in the back. Definitely not going to get involved in this match at all. Wrong. They do get involved. The Miz does come in and attack Daniel Bryan, giving the DQ win to him. Almas hits a Hammerlock DDT onto Daniel Bryan. Then the Miz makes Daniel Bryan watch as Zelina Vega and Maurice assault his wife. Then they make Brie Bella watch as The Miz hits a skull-crushing finale onto Daniel Bryan being the devious, evil, stuck-up couple that they are. AJ Styles makes his way into the ring up next. He cuts a promo on Samoa Joe, talking about how sick and tired he is of Samoa Joe's mind games, and he wants to put an end to them right now. And he calls out Joe, but Joe appears on the Titantron. He says, "I'm not coming out here. I'm going to make a really quick phone call." He calls up, and he basically asks how their little Annie is and that he's going to be making a stop at their house next week. Not creepy at all, Joe. Not creepy at all. How in the hell do you even know AJ Styles' address? So AJ Styles then darts out of the ring to find Samoa Joe, but of course Joe has vanished into thin air. More to come next week apparently, so we'll see what's going on. And by the way, why isn't this match a Hell in a Cell match? There's so much tension between the two. This needs to boil over at Hell in a Cell. Like inside of Hell in a Cell. We still have like what three more weeks left before Hell in a Cell. I'm pretty sure they have some time to change it, which I hope that they do. It is now time for our main event. Charlotte Flair taking on Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Carmella, of course, invoked a rematch clause last week for this week, and they have a pretty good match. This is actually the best match that these two have had from their 3 matches. Well, technically 2 matches. I really enjoyed it. Carmella definitely getting a lot more frustrated in this one than she did in the last 2 bouts. Their last bout, I'm sorry, they only had 1 match technically. First time she won the championship was the cash-in and everything. So yeah, this was fun stuff, but the match did end with Charlotte Flair basically hitting a whole combination of her signatures from the spear to the natural selection, finally going into the figure 4, transitioning into the figure 8. Carmella taps, Charlotte wins. Becky Lynch comes out, beats the crap out of Charlotte Flair, calls her a bitch, and then leaves. And also read somewhere that they're not going to do out and out heel Becky Lynch, which is, I think, very smart because the fans are very much behind Becky. They're pretty much just going to have like a friend versus friend kind of feud, kind of like what they did with the Sasha Bailey thing, but hopefully much better than that. I mean, then again, it's not that hard to surpass that sorry excuse of a storyline. So we'll see what happens next week. Overall, I thought both shows were a little bit underwhelming for me. I guess maybe it's just because I'm so excited for All In. I didn't really care about Raw or SmackDown this week. But I will say that SmackDown just edged out Raw by like that much. So not by too high of a margin for me, but it was still, I guess SmackDown was technically still the better show. However, I do have some highlights. Starting off with the Raw, I did really enjoy Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, and really good match. And then the following up with the intrigue with Kevin Owens allegedly quitting, so that was pretty cool. Dean Ambrose versus Jinder Mahal. As I said, anytime Jinder Mahal gets killed by someone is a good match in my book. Then I did like the Braun and Roman versus Dolph and Drew match. That was a pretty good match. And then the post-match angle with Braun getting payback for last week. So that was good stuff. Moving on to SmackDown Live, I did enjoy the first match, the match between the Bar, the Good Brothers, and the Colognes. That was a really good match. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Andrade Cien Almas versus Daniel Bryan was a really good match. Everything going on with Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton is great stuff. Everything going on with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe also was really good. Getting a little creepy, but it's still pretty good. The whole tension between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, and that match between Charlotte and Carmella, all good stuff. So I really enjoyed that. So those are my thoughts and my highlights from Raw and SmackDown. Let me know what you guys thought about both shows in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. And be sure to check the link in the description below for my episode with Armbar Audio. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. This is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.